Leadership Fairbanks was a couple days ago, and in the course of that day, we watched this great video from a couple years ago, a talk that Seth Godin gave at an inbound marketing conference. And he was, he can probably tell it better than I can. Hold on just one second.
In this new revolutionary time we live in is that the only thing we are keeping track of is not docs. We are keeping track of trust and connection and the stories we tell ourselves. And it's all invented. The story you are telling yourself about your competence and your incompetence, the story you are telling yourself about the outfit you wore today or the way people think about you or what money is, it's all invented. We invented a story because it worked for us. And the people in Bareilly, India have a totally different story about themselves or their money or their future than you do. And your story is totally different than his story. And it's all invented.
It was a brilliant reminder of how much maybe we, take things that have been invented and act like they are the way that things have always been, the way things will always be, just like the natural order. So I drove past the apartment that I lived in when Nicole and I first got married. And I can remember that. It's been 20 years ago now, but I can remember that time in my life. And if you had told me then that I would be living in the house that I live in now, that I would have the amount of money in the bank that I have right now, which at this point in my life I consider to be fairly regular. I do not consider myself to be wealthy. I do not consider myself to have like a super fancy house. We have some nice things, and to me it is just fairly regular. But if you told that 20-year-old kid that this is where I would be in 20 years, I would be like, holy crap, we won the frickin' lottery. We're loaded. Because what success looked like 20 years ago is different than what it looks like today. But along the way, my definitions adapted and changed, and I invented new stories about what success looked like. So I want to give you just a second. I want you to think for just a second. Like, think of the richest person you can imagine, okay? I'm going to give you just a minute here. Go. Okay, you got somebody? So here's the deal. You have an idea about where you fit in this equation, and you have an idea about where this other person fits in the equation. And you look at them, and maybe your person is somebody you know, maybe it's freaking Oprah, I don't know. But you have an idea based on an invention, something we've invented, right? And there's someone in the world right now. Maybe they're close by, maybe they are countries away, maybe they're halfway around the world. But there's someone in the world right now that would look at you and say that you are wildly rich, that you are wealthy beyond their imagination, right? You probably wouldn't say that about yourself. Maybe you would. I don't know what your situation is. But you probably think that you're fairly regular, that you're not that wealthy. Maybe you have some nice things. Maybe you don't have nice things. But someone in the world would look at whatever it is you have and they would say, wow, if I had those things, holy cow, my life would be completely different. And so this is simply to illustrate here today, as we are like right on the cusp of Christmas and we're in the middle of the holidays, there's so much stuff going on, that so much of what we think about where we fit is an invention. And that means that the stories we tell ourselves about the stress we experience this time of year, or the work we do, or how we fit with our peers and all these things, they are inventions. And if they've been invented, if they are not just the natural state of the world, then we can invent new things. And we can change our minds about things, the way we think about things, and we can very likely change other people's minds in many ways. And so maybe that causes you to reframe the way that you think about something. Like, I'll let you pick that. Maybe it's your money, maybe it's your job, maybe it's your relationships. I don't know. You pick something. But to reframe the way you think about what you may think is a constant and you may think is the way everything exists naturally, and reframe that in terms of, wait, if these things are invented, let's invent new things.